Renting for life. An economist has come out and saying that we're becoming a nation of renters. Generation rent, it's called, and we are in a real issue over it. Over 50% of New Zealanders are now renting. So I want to ask David Seymour first up. You've been renting. You're a renter around here?
I'm a renter.
Yeah. So what would you do about this issue?
Well, let's get a few facts here. First of all, the ratio of house prices to incomes is way out of whack. 20 years ago, it was 3 years' income to buy a house. Now it's close to 9 in Auckland. And the second thing you have to accept, that if you look at the international evidence across the world, particularly North America, it is the land use policies adopted by local governments that make the difference.
It's not just regulations, though, is it? What do you think? What do you make of what David says there, James?
Well, the thing is that there's both a supply problem and a demand side problem, and the problem that we've got is that our government's focusing on the one half of the equation, so they're doing nothing to really try and suppress demand.
You're a renter as well, aren't you?
Well,
I am.
How do you suppress demand, though? Kick people out on the street?
One of the things that Shamavil Jacob said, the economist who said this, is that people should start to not feel like a social leper about renting. That renting needs to be more like in Switzerland, Jacinda, where it's actually more acceptable. What do you think about that?
Look, if people want to rent because it's their choice to rent, that's one thing. But if people are being forced to rent because they have absolutely no option around buying because it's absolutely priced out of their reach, that is a significant problem. And I'll tell you, David, how you deal with demand. You make sure that overseas investors who have no interest in living in this country or contributing to this country aren't able to buy simply because New Zealand is offering a massively good deal in terms of capital gain.
Do you rent?
No, I managed to get into the property market a couple of years ago. I consider myself extremely lucky. Yeah. I own a little apartment in Auckland.
In Auckland, possibly central.
I live in the electorate I work in Freeman's Bay.
What about your Parmjeet? What about you? Do you rent? Are you a renter?
No.
You're a property owner?
I'm renting here in Wellington.
Okay, yes, all right.
So national values home ownership.
Good to know. Good to know.
This is my new home.
And the Bolton Hotel, yes, all right.
So, national values home ownership because that provides stability to families and also security in retirement. And that is why we have doubled our efforts to improve housing supply and make houses affordable.
But it's going so slow. That's the thing. It's going so damn slowly.
Because we have so many people now coming back into New Zealand because our economy is doing so well. So it's about demand and supply. It's about that equation, making sure that it equates.
All right.
I can tell you almost the 40,000 people a year who are coming into Auckland aren't all just people coming back from Australia. That's a whole mixture of reasons why our population is growing. But Auckland has a deficit of roughly 20,000 houses per annum that we need to be building in order to deal with that. So there is not a plan to deal with
that. One point was that people are only speculating because there's a shortage of supply. You don't speculate in things that are plentiful. If you fix the supply problem, you actually fix a lot of these so-called demand problems.
James, that's one of the things this economist did say, that we're stuck by what used to be principles and now shackles, so regulation is a bit of a problem. Height restrictions, deck restrictions, all these, that can add 20 grand, 30 grand onto a house. Why not loosen the regulations? There's too many.
So we actually have a problem with poor quality housing in New Zealand. We actually need to be lifting the standards of building, not reducing them, right? So we do need to be building greater density cities, especially in Auckland. And actually, people in their 30s and 40s today, they don't want to live, 3 hours drive outside of Auckland. They want to live downtown in apartments in a high density city.
Let's talk. Try having children.
We have signed 7 housing accords with regional councils, and we are also talking to Nelson now. There's 81% increase in consent since 2011. This is national data, 81% increase. And $14.6 billion is spent on construction in this just last year, which is 21% more than the previous year. So we are really focused. Our Home Start package is also helping families. It's targeted to help 90,000 low and middle income families to get into first homes.
And then we'll go to Damien.
Yeah, houses are still earning more than people.
Yeah.
In Auckland. That's the reality.
If there's supply, the price comes down. We are working on supply.
We've got to start building.
We'll go to Damien.
Even builders working for the government cannot build houses without land.
David, we'll come back to you, Damien.
Yeah, I was just going to say, can you put the signs down, get the signs out of the way. Then people think there's only signs in the audience. I was just going to say, I was having a chat the other day in the playground. I'll watch that back later. I was having a chat the other day with a friend in the playground, and the conversation I'm getting getting in Auckland these days now is just the people that are resigned to, no, we missed out. We didn't get a house. It's not going to happen for us now. Are you a house owner or renter?
No, renter.
You renter? Would you like to buy a house?
Well, maybe one day.
Do you think it's feasible?
It would be if I really wanted to, yeah.
Anyone, lucky you, well done, good. Anyone currently looking to get into a house, actually making efforts? No? Good, like that. What about, hello, hi.
Hi.
Renter or owner?
Renter.
Yeah, and are you thinking about buying?
No, not yet.
Good story. What about you, renter, owner?
Renter.
Yeah, and thinking about buying?
No, it's not a big goal for me, actually.
Cool, good. We should do the show in Auckland. Honestly, people in Wellington just don't care about property as much as... How about you, sir? Renter or owner?
Owner.
Now we're talking. How long have you had your house?
12 years.
12 years. Do you think you could, the house that you've got right now, could you afford to buy it today?
Yes.
It's because it's in Wellington, right?
No, it's a Trentham.
Trentham. Oh, Upper Hutt, my old stomping ground. Very, very good, very good. But perhaps we can have a little chat over the panel there, Wallace, about what's going on in Auckland. It's quite a different thing, isn't it?
All right, I want to talk a little bit about renters' rights now because, actually, hot off the press also, Berlin this week, what they've done, because they've got the same issue as Auckland, they've actually instituted a cap on rent, so it can't go 10% above the average rent price. Parmjeet, is that something that National would like to see in Auckland City, a cap on rents?
We have Residential Tribunal Act, according to which landlords can't charge more than market rent. So if someone thinks that they are being charged more than market rent, they can go to Tenancy Tribunal and bring it in line with market
Jacinda,
rent.
a cap on rents.
Yeah, I guess that only works if your market isn't completely out of control. And I think part of the issue for us is that at the moment, this is a big intergenerational issue. The people who are unable to buy are a generation who are also burdened with student debt. And they're going into having families without having security.
That's why we have home
Our policy is that we do need to review the Residential Tenancies
I'm
Act.
just trying to find a solution because it's out of control. I want to see Berlin, like Auckland, having maybe a cap on rent so people can live. What about you, James?
There's a ton of different things that you can do, and it's true that in New Zealand we actually have pretty poor rights for renters if you compare it to a lot of European
Switzerland
countries.
or New York?
Yeah, that's right. And where most people do rent, but you've got in New Zealand something like 2 million people who are renting. And that's a really unstable lifestyle for a lot of people. So we do need to do something for people who are renting, for those people who want to rent.
David
Jacinda's
Seymour,
absolutely right.
a concrete solution like Berlin, a cap on rents.
Well, very
Briefly.
near Berlin is a Swedish economist called Assar Lindbeck, and he said that rent control is the surest way to destroy a city aside from bombing. Anyone that advocates rent control is an economic illiterate, and it's crazy. Wishing for lower rents will not get you lower rents.
But hang on.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking this question and we're having this conversation in 2015.
Berlin's done it.
Yeah, well, doesn't mean we have to. Berlin's done lots of things we probably shouldn't do.
Okay, all right.